India's strategic significance to the United States has grown dramatically in recent years, largely because of the shifting power dynamics in Asia, particularly due to the rapid rise of China. As the United States reassesses its global priorities and grapples with emerging geopolitical threats, India has emerged as a critical partner in maintaining regional balance and supporting a multipolar world order. The Indo-Pacific region, which includes South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the broader Pacific Ocean area, has become the focal point of global strategic competition. Within this vast and increasingly contested space, India occupies a unique and powerful position, geographically, militarily, economically, and diplomatically, that makes its rise crucial to America's future foreign policy and security objectives. One of the most pressing concerns for the United States is the growing assertiveness of China, both in the Indo-Pacific region and globally. From aggressive territorial claims in the South China Sea to confrontations along the Himalayan border with India, Beijing's actions have raised alarms among U.S. policymakers and allies alike. China's expansive Belt and Road Initiative, military modernization, and influence operations across the globe signal its intent to reshape the global order in ways that may undermine democratic norms and challenge the current balance of power. In this context, the U.S. views India as a natural counterweight, a large, sovereign nation with its own strategic interests, democratic institutions, and independent foreign policy, yet one whose interests align significantly with those of the U.S. The idea of balancing China is not merely about military deterrence. It encompasses a wider strategy of shaping the Indo-Pacific into a region that favors freedom, openness, and adherence to international rules. India's location gives it significant leverage over vital sea lanes in the Indian Ocean, through which a large portion of global trade and energy supplies pass. The Indian Navy's growing capabilities and its partnerships with other navies, including the U.S., Japan, and Australia, through mechanisms like the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, are key to ensuring the security of these maritime routes. A strong and stable India contributes to the regional order by bolstering the naval and diplomatic framework that can deter Chinese aggression without relying solely on American forces. The U.S.-India defense relationship has evolved rapidly, especially in the past decade. The two countries have signed several foundational defense agreements, including the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement (COMCOSA) and the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement (BICA), which enhance military cooperation and information sharing. Joint military exercises like Yud Abhyas and Malabar not only build interoperability, but also send a clear signal to other powers that the two democracies are prepared to cooperate on security. India's increasing procurement of American defense technology, from surveillance drones to advanced fighter aircraft, further solidifies this strategic alignment. But India is not a traditional ally in the mold of NATO countries. It prefers strategic autonomy and has historically maintained a non-aligned posture. However, the convergence of interests, especially around maintaining regional balance and countering China's rise, has brought the U.S. and India closer than ever. India's willingness to stand firm in its own disputes with China, such as during the Doklam standoff in 2017 and the Galwan Valley clash in 2020, illustrates both its capability and resolve. These events not only demonstrated India's military readiness, but also its alignment with the broader regional goals of deterring unilateral aggression and upholding territorial integrity. Furthermore, the U.S. increasingly sees India as an essential partner in shaping the rules of the road for new domains of competition, including cyber, space, and critical emerging technologies. While these areas are not traditional battlegrounds, they are becoming vital theaters in great power rivalry. India's expertise in information, technology, and space exploration, combined with its large and youthful workforce, makes it an invaluable player in these domains. A strategically aligned India ensures that the future of these sectors is not dominated solely by authoritarian models or state-controlled systems promoted by China. India's importance to the U.S. also reflects a broader shift away from a unipolar world toward a more distributed power structure. As America seeks to share the burden of leadership with like-minded partners, it needs capable regional players that can act independently yet collaboratively. India's role fits this requirement. It is neither dependent on the U.S. nor adversarial to it. Instead, it is an increasingly confident power that seeks to contribute to the global order in its own right. This makes India a more sustainable and credible partner than any country that is simply bound by treaty or obligation. In summary, India's rise is not just a regional development. It is a global strategic opportunity for the United States. As the U.S. shifts its focus toward the Indo-Pacific and contends with the challenges posed by an assertive China, a strong and assertive India can help preserve a stable balance of power. Whether through military cooperation, maritime security, defense technology, or broader strategic alignment, India is poised to be a cornerstone of America's long-term strategy in Asia. The success of this partnership will be a critical factor in determining whether the 21st century continues to be shaped by democratic principles and a rules-based order, or by the encroachment of authoritarian powers and spheres of influence. India's economic rise presents a significant opportunity for the United States, not only in terms of trade and investment, but also in securing a reliable long-term partner in global supply chains, innovation, and economic resilience. As the world's fifth largest economy and one of the fastest growing major markets, India is becoming increasingly central to U.S. economic interests in the 21st century. The importance of this relationship is not solely based on growth metrics, but on the alignment of economic structures, complementary strengths, and the potential for mutually beneficial cooperation in a shifting global landscape. The global economy is undergoing a period of rebalancing. After decades of heavy reliance on China as a manufacturing and export hub, U.S. companies and policymakers are actively seeking to diversify their economic dependencies. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed significant vulnerabilities in global supply chains, particularly when they are overly concentrated in one country. The rising geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China, including trade wars and technology restrictions, have further underscored the need for alternative partners. In this context, India stands out as a viable and promising option for U.S. businesses and strategic planners alike. India's large and youthful population, more than 1.4 billion people with a median age of just under 30, offers not only a growing labor force but also a vast and expanding consumer base. As incomes rise and the middle class continues to grow, India is expected to become one of the largest consumer markets in the world, especially in sectors like digital services, healthcare, education, consumer goods, and renewable energy. For American companies, this means access to a market with enormous potential for long-term growth. Companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, and Tesla have already begun expanding their footprint in India, recognizing the country's importance as both a production center and a final destination for their goods and services. Beyond consumption, India's commitment to economic reforms and digital infrastructure development further enhances its appeal as an economic partner. Initiatives like Digital India, Startup India, and Make in India aim to promote entrepreneurship, attract foreign investment, and develop modern infrastructure. India's large and competitive services sector, particularly in IT and software development, has long been integrated with American businesses. Major U.S. firms rely on Indian talent and outsourcing to manage operations, develop software, and provide customer service, making the two economies increasingly interdependent. One of the key areas of synergy between the U.S. and India lies in technology and innovation. India is home to a thriving startup ecosystem and a growing number of unicorns, privately held companies valued at over $1 billion, many of which are backed by American venture capital and private equity firms. Collaboration in areas such as artificial intelligence, semiconductor development, biotechnology, and clean energy is increasing, supported by both private investment and government partnerships. The recently launched U.S. India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology (ICT) seeks to deepen cooperation in frontier technologies and reduce dependency on Chinese tech infrastructure. For the U.S., aligning with India in these domains means building resilient and secure technology ecosystems that are free from authoritarian influence. In addition to innovation, India is emerging as a credible alternative in global manufacturing. With rising labor costs in China and increasing political risk, U.S. manufacturers are exploring China Plus One strategies, moving parts of their production to other countries, with India being a top choice. The Indian government has introduced production-linked incentive PLI schemes to attract investment in sectors such as electronics, pharmaceuticals, solar panels, and automotive components. American manufacturers can take advantage of India's cost-effective labor, improving logistics and policy incentives to diversify their supply chains and enhance resilience. Furthermore, energy and climate cooperation offer another promising avenue for economic collaboration. India's growing energy needs and its commitment to transitioning toward renewable sources create opportunities for American companies in solar, wind, battery storage, and nuclear energy. The U.S. has already partnered with India under the U.S. India Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership, aimed at accelerating progress toward climate goals while fostering green investments. This cooperation not only addresses climate challenges but also opens up a multi-billion-dollar clean energy market for U.S. technology and service providers. Investment flows between the two countries are also on the rise. U.S. foreign direct investment (FDI) into India has grown steadily, and Indian companies are also increasingly investing in the United States, particularly in IT services, pharmaceuticals, and manufacturing. This two-way flow of capital strengthens economic ties and creates jobs on both sides. Moreover, the large Indian diaspora in the United States, successful in business, technology, and academia, serves as a bridge that promotes cultural familiarity, business trust, and long-term strategic alignment. Trade barriers and regulatory challenges do remain, such as issues around tariffs, data localization, intellectual property protection, and market access in certain sectors. However, both governments are engaged in continuous dialogue to address these concerns. With renewed interest in forging deeper trade agreements and economic frameworks, possibly through platforms like the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework (IPEF), there is scope to resolve differences and build a more robust and seamless economic partnership. In conclusion, India's economic ascent offers the United States not just an opportunity for commercial expansion, but a strategic partnership that supports economic diversification, innovation, and resilience. As the global economic center of gravity shifts toward Asia, the U.S.-India economic relationship is poised to become a cornerstone of future prosperity. The integration of these two economies, driven by shared interests, complementary strengths, and strategic imperatives, can help shape a more balanced and secure global economy in the decades ahead. The collaboration between India and the United States in technology and innovation is emerging as a cornerstone of their strategic partnership. In a world increasingly driven by digital transformation, artificial intelligence, clean energy, space exploration, and advanced manufacturing, the synergy between India's growing technological capabilities and America's global leadership in innovation presents immense possibilities. This collaboration is not only economically beneficial, but also strategically important, as both nations seek to build resilient, open, and democratic technology ecosystems that can compete with and counterbalance authoritarian models of technological development and control. India has rapidly evolved from being a provider of basic IT services to becoming a hub for advanced digital innovation. With one of the largest pools of STEM graduates in the world and a vibrant startup ecosystem, India has positioned itself as a serious player in the global tech industry. American technology companies have long recognized India's potential and have established deep operational roots in the country. Giants like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Apple have set up large research and development centers, data facilities, and innovation labs in Indian cities. Indian talent drives much of the technological progress within these organizations, and many U.S.-based tech firms are led by Indian-origin CEO. This shared talent base creates a natural alignment and mutual dependence that fuels deeper collaboration. Beyond the private sector, both governments are increasingly investing in strategic technology partnerships. The United States and India have launched several bilateral initiatives aimed at strengthening cooperation in critical and emerging technologies. One of the most prominent is the U.S.-India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology (ICT), launched in 2023. This initiative covers key areas such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, semiconductors, 5G and 6G telecom technologies, biotechnology, and advanced materials. Under ICT, the two countries are working to build secure supply chains, invest in joint research, and establish trusted standards that reflect democratic values and norms of transparency, data privacy, and ethical use. Semiconductor collaboration is a particularly significant component of this partnership. The global semiconductor shortage during the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the fragility of existing supply chains, many of which are dominated by East Asian countries. The United States has made it a strategic priority to diversify these supply chains and reduce its reliance on any single region. India, with its growing design capabilities and aspirations to become a semiconductor manufacturing hub, is an attractive partner in this effort. With American support in the form of technology transfers, capital investment, and expertise, India can play a vital role in reshaping the global semiconductor ecosystem. In the realm of artificial intelligence and machine learning, both nations stand to gain from closer collaboration. The U.S. leads in fundamental AI research and applications, while India offers a vast pool of engineers, data scientists, and innovators who can scale AI solutions at a rapid pace and lower cost. Joint initiatives in AI can help solve common challenges, such as improving healthcare delivery, optimizing agriculture, enabling smart cities, and enhancing cybersecurity, while also promoting responsible AI governance frameworks. This is particularly important at a time when concerns about surveillance, algorithmic bias, and AI weaponization are growing around the world. Space exploration and satellite technology represent another frontier of U.S.-India cooperation. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO has made impressive strides with cost-effective missions, including lunar and Mars exploration, while the U.S. remains the global leader in space science and commercial spaceflight. Collaborative ventures such as NASA's partnerships with ISRO on Earth observation, disaster management, and planetary science show how the two nations can pool resources for global benefit. India's participation in the Artemis Accords and plans for its own space station further open avenues for deeper space collaboration, including technology sharing, astronaut training, and joint missions. Cybersecurity and digital infrastructure are also critical areas where U.S. India cooperation is becoming essential. As both nations face persistent cyber threats from state and non-state actors, protecting critical infrastructure and ensuring data security have become top national priorities. India's role as a data-rich nation with over 800 million Internet users makes it a significant player in global digital governance. Joint efforts to strengthen cyber defense mechanisms, set global norms for cyberspace, and coordinate responses to cyber incidents can enhance both countries' resilience and security in the digital age. Clean energy technologies are another pillar of technological collaboration. As the world transitions away from fossil fuels, innovations in renewable energy, electric mobility, battery storage, and hydrogen fuel will determine the pace and success of decarbonization. India's ambitious targets for solar and wind energy generation, coupled with its need for scalable and affordable clean tech solutions, align well with America's strengths in research and innovation. Joint ventures, technology transfers, and public-private partnerships in clean energy not only help fight climate change, but also open new markets for both countries. This deepening tech partnership is also critical in shaping global technology governance. The U.S. and India, as democratic nations, have a shared interest in ensuring that the digital future is not dominated by authoritarian norms such as mass surveillance, censorship, or forced data localization. Together, they can advocate for global technology standards that respect individual rights, promote fair competition, and ensure ethical development. Their collaboration can set an example for the responsible deployment of technology in developing nations and help create a digital ecosystem that is inclusive, secure, and innovation-friendly. In conclusion, the growing collaboration between India and the United States in technology and innovation reflects not just a convergence of economic interests, but a shared vision for a secure, democratic, and forward-looking world order. As both countries deepen their engagement in critical sectors such as AI, semiconductors, space, cybersecurity, and clean energy, they lay the foundation for a partnership that will shape the global technological landscape for decades to come. This alliance strengthens not only their individual capabilities, but also their collective ability to lead the world in a direction where innovation serves humanity, not authoritarian control. The relationship between India and the United States is not solely grounded in economics or strategic necessity. It is also deeply rooted in shared democratic values and a mutual commitment to a rules-based international order. As the world experiences increasing challenges to democratic governance and the global balance of power becomes more fluid, the alignment between the world's two largest democracies becomes increasingly vital. India and the U.S., despite differences in history, culture, and development, share fundamental principles, such as respect for individual freedoms, rule of law, pluralism, and free speech, which form a strong foundation for long-term partnership. Their cooperation helps reinforce democratic norms not just within their own countries, but across regions where these values are under threat. In recent years, authoritarian regimes have become more assertive, both domestically and globally, challenging the liberal democratic model. From increased surveillance and suppression of dissent to military expansionism and influence operations in democratic societies, the rise of authoritarian power centers poses a serious challenge to global stability and individual freedoms. In this context, the partnership between the United States and India serves as a critical counterweight. Together, they represent a powerful example of how diverse, multicultural societies can thrive within democratic frameworks, and their collaboration is increasingly seen as essential to defending and promoting these values worldwide. India's democratic system is among the most complex and vibrant in the world, with more than 900 million eligible voters, regular elections at local, state, and national levels, and an active civil society. It exemplifies the resilience of democratic institutions in a large and diverse nation. Despite internal challenges such as socio-economic inequality, religious and linguistic diversity, and political tensions, India has sustained its democratic structure since independence in 1947. This continuity makes India an especially valuable partner for the U.S., as it demonstrates that democracy can function in non-Western contexts and in countries with significant developmental needs. For the United States, which has long positioned itself as a champion of democratic governance globally, India's rise as a democratic power supports its broader foreign policy goals. As Western democracies face internal polarization and external challenges from authoritarian powers, India offers a fresh and compelling narrative, a democracy that is rising on its own terms, with growing influence in international affairs. The U.S. sees India not only as a strategic partner, but as a co-defender of democratic norms in multilateral institutions such as the United Nations, the G20, and the World Trade Organization, where debates over human rights, press freedom, and the rule of law are increasingly contentious. The two countries also collaborate closely in promoting democratic values through diplomacy and capacity building efforts. Programs funded by both governments support democratic institutions, rule of law, electoral integrity, and civil society engagement in developing countries, especially across South Asia and Africa. The partnership aims to build democratic resilience and help other nations strengthen their institutions, offering an alternative to development models that come with authoritarian overtones. Through initiatives like the U.S. India Global Leadership Summit, joint workshops, and democratic dialogues, both countries support each other and third-party democracies with training, technical assistance, and policy guidance. Another significant area of shared democratic commitment is in the digital realm. As technology becomes increasingly embedded in every aspect of life, from governance and education to finance and national security, there is a growing need to ensure that digital spaces remain open, safe, and aligned with democratic values. The U.S. and India are working together to shape digital governance standards, combat misinformation, protect data privacy, and secure the Internet against authoritarian misuse. By advocating for democratic oversight of artificial intelligence, social media, and digital surveillance, the two nations are helping to safeguard civil liberties in the digital age. The Indian-American diaspora also plays a powerful role in strengthening the democratic bond between the two nations. With over 4 million Indian Americans in the United States, many of whom are highly educated and active in politics, academia, business, and civil society, the diaspora serves as a bridge between the two countries. Prominent Indian Americans hold leadership positions in government, including in the U.S. Congress, and advocate for deeper ties rooted in mutual respect and shared democratic ideals. Their influence helps foster cultural understanding, dispel stereotypes, and build grassroots connections that make the bilateral relationship more resilient and multidimensional. Of course, the U.S.-India relationship is not without tensions or complexities. Both countries have had disagreements on issues related to press freedom, religious tolerance, immigration, and foreign policy alignments. However, what sets this partnership apart is its ability to navigate these differences within a framework of mutual respect and dialogue. The democratic structures in both countries allow for debate, dissent, and correction, tools that are essential for any enduring alliance. These mechanisms not only make the partnership more transparent and accountable, but also enable it to grow stronger over time. In global forums, India and the United States often find themselves aligned on key issues related to sovereignty, human rights, and international law. Whether it is advocating for a free and open Indo-Pacific, supporting Ukraine's sovereignty, or pushing for reforms in global financial institutions, their positions are often complementary. By working together, they amplify each other's voices and increase the credibility and effectiveness of their advocacy for a fairer, more democratic international order. In conclusion, the partnership between India and the United States is reinforced by more than just strategic interests or economic goals. It is grounded in a shared belief in democratic governance and a commitment to preserving and promoting these values on the global stage. As authoritarian influences rise and global challenges grow more complex, the alignment of these two large, diverse democracies becomes not just beneficial, but necessary. Their collaboration can serve as a guiding light for nations seeking to uphold freedom, pluralism, and justice in a rapidly changing world.